Good. Well, I invited I saw the email blast. I wanted other people to listen in, and maybe they can benefit from some of the stuff we can go over.
Okay.
So, well, let's get started. So let's kind of, let's talk like specifics about your situations that you ran into and kind of the challenges you're having.
Okay. The thing is, I feel like I'm kind of struggling in all the areas, and by the numbers, recently it's like I'm on 25% close rate, 25% appointment booking rate, and it's like a 25% show rate. Like I'm just having so many cancellations or reschedules. Some of the reschedules had to do, we've had 2 days now where we've had weather causing that, but the show rate's been declining and seems like it gets worse.
Okay.
And
well, that's yeah. Okay.
So, I guess it would just be, where do you want to start? Do you want to hit on like the appointments, closing the appointments, or getting the show rate, or what? And then I can give you what I'm running into.
Sure. So let's get the show rate situation taken care of. So in general, how far in advance are you booking your appointments?
There's kind of a variety. I'm trying to get closer to that, 48-hour rule. But some of them I was farther out than that. But
closer means what? Closer means, so give me numbers. I can't tell you. I think I'm doing give me hard numbers.
Okay. So last night I booked appointments for Sunday. So it was Thursday night, but because that was due to scheduling of and when I got my first appointment, when they could do it, and then so that I'm not scattered throughout. I'm trying to get it to where I have 1 day of fully running appointments, rather than a couple on this day and a couple on that day, and and then they cancel. Whereas if I'm running a whole day, someone cancels, it's not as big of a deal.
Okay, so tell me, booking today, Thursday, for Sunday, how's that going to help you increase your show rate?
Yeah.
There's a reason why we teach 24 to 48 hours, right? And the reason is your show rates are higher. If you go beyond 48 hours, your show rates are lower. You're proving it.
Okay.
So either fix it, or you continue to suffer the problem with show rate. So here's what I would do, is that if I did what you did, I would reconfirm those appointments on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. But Alex, they might cancel. I know they might cancel because you broke the rule. So you broke the rule, then you got to reconfirm them, unless you want to go out there and have more show rates, and then you're going to call me and tell me that your show rates suck. So,
that one I definitely. The ones I had the other day, though.
Well, tell me about what happened. You're telling me what you just did that goes against what we teach. So tell me what you did before that got you the 25% show rate. Was it the same thing? Did you book it out more than 24 to 48?
I guess, let's see. I'm looking at my calendar.
Okay.
I guess I did.
So tell me, so when did you the ones that you're telling me about 25% show rate, tell me like when you booked it for, and then what day did you book it? Like what day did you dial and what day did you book it for?
Okay. Well, and I guess what happens is they're like, well, I'm not going to be home then, and then I get a time that they're going to be home, and so then I kind of book that, and then I see, okay, I'll see you. That's how it's been going. I'm like, rather than not get an appointment at all, I book an appointment they say they can make, and then I try to make some other appointments in that day. That's kind of
okay. Well,
but
you kind of answered my question.
So it's like. On the reschedules, well, no, Saturday, I booked for Saturday, and they couldn't make any sooner, so Thursday. Yeah, I booked Saturday for Thursday. I guess I had heard some of the...
okay, what does that mean? You booked Saturday, you're dialing on Saturday.
For Thursday.
Booked for Thursday. That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 days.
Yeah.
Here, okay. So you sound very desperate to book appointments.
Yeah.
And so one thing I do is I book for 2 days in advance. And so when they say, well, I'm not going to be, so let's say I'm booking Saturday. I'm dialing Saturday, so I'm only booking Sunday and Monday. Okay. So I call and they tell me whatever on, well, I tell them I'm going to be in your area tomorrow and Monday. They have me coming out to your area tomorrow and Monday. I have a 2:30 Sunday afternoon or a 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon open. And Monday, I think I can swing by between 5 and 6 p.m. on Monday night. So tell me which one's better for you. And they say, well, neither of those times work because Sunday afternoon we're going to be doing this, and then Monday night, we're going to be doing that. I go, okay, well, let me do this. What time do you wake up Sunday? Well, we get up about 8 o'clock. Okay. I could probably be there like 9 o'clock, between 9 and 10 o'clock. Well, we go to church. Okay, so when do you get back from church? We get back from church at noon. Okay, hold on. I think noon, I could probably fit you in between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. You can be home between 12:30 and 1 o'clock? Yeah. Okay, I will go every hour by the hour. I'll ask, when do you go to church? When do you wake up? I'll book it at 7 in the morning if I have to. What time do you go to church? We go to church at 10. Okay, I'll be there. You get up at 7, I'll be there about 8 o'clock. And here's the thing with booking early morning appointments is that it's a high show rate because it's early in the morning. There's not other things that they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to take control. Now, but Alex, what if there's no way they can meet me Sunday and Monday? Then I tell them, okay, well then I'll call you back. What day works for you next week? Well, we'll probably be home Thursday night. Okay, great. I'm going to call you Tuesday and see what your Thursday night looks like. You're going to be home Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be home Tuesday. Oh, you're going to be home Tuesday? Well, why don't we just meet Tuesday? Well, yeah, that'll work. What time? 7? Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's book it for Tuesday night at 7. Well, I'll call you tomorrow just to make sure it still looks good for you. Okay. Now, if they say, well, I'm going to be going on vacation next week. There's no way I can meet until the following week. Okay, I'll just call you back. Like, Carol, I'm not going to say, well, let's book it for the Monday after you get back. Why? Because they are going to no-show me. But maybe you need to be no-showed more before you'll stick to the 24 to 48 hours. So it depends on how much more you want to get no-showed. Then maybe you'll take a little more control over your schedule. Does that make sense? Because it happened to me. I got sick and tired of it. I got sick and tired of it. So until you get sick and tired of it, then you'll do it. But if you're not sick and tired yet, then continue to do what you're doing, and then you'll get to the point that I got to where it's like, screw it. I know what's going to happen. I can predict the future, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that point, like, because the one appointment when he, I did actually call him because I wanted to make sure he was up or was going to answer the door or whatever, and he and I did, I got enough out of him that basically he wasn't, he didn't want to meet because, when I asked him, well, what changed and everything, and he started telling me I only got $50 a month to live on, or $50 left after I pay my bills to live on, and I just don't feel like I'm going to be able to afford it right now, and it's not a priority. And I don't know. I guess I got so tired of those things that I just said okay, because I was like, and I'll call you back and see if things change, and he was fine with that. But I'm having trouble figuring out, because I can't show up any evening. I have, like, I worked it out to where I got one evening to make, and I was doing that to make my calls. So it's like the evenings and weekends thing kind of got in my way in trying to figure out how to do the 24-hour to make the 24 to 48 hours to make the calls and book the appointments. I think that's where I'm messing up too. I'm having figuring out how to work it, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the schedule thing. The schedule you showed me, you had plenty of opportunity, it looked like, to call on one day for the next 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
It looked like that anyway. I don't know. Did things change?
I just, I think what it is I get, I don't know. I get appointments, and then I get one appointment, and then I just try to book around it, I guess, is what I do, rather than just sticking to this is what I'm doing. These are the days I'm going to be out there. You know what I mean? Maybe that's it.
This is not diametrically opposed to booking one appointment and booking around it. I teach that you should do that, but you need to do it within 24 to 48 hours. So, like, if you're dialing on Thursday for Friday and Saturday, you book your first appointment on Saturday, then I try to book around that appointment Saturday. And then I got one who can only meet me Friday, and then I try to book around that appointment Friday. So, and then that Saturday one, if that's 3 p.m., I try to book a 2 o'clock and a 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. I try to keep it all grouped together as close as I can. If I can't, then I can't, but I try to make it to where it's efficient for me. If you start getting an inventory of leads and, maybe ordering some other, older leads or whatever, that you can, once you have more of an inventory to dial, then merely just becomes a dial fest, where you just dial enough where you're going to be able to fit the appointments in and keeping it to Friday and Saturday, but yeah,
I think that may be an issue too. Is just enough in one area too, because I could put the appointments together, but they'd all be scattered all over the place where it'd be too far to drive.
Well, look, I mean, short of having zero appointments or any appointments, I mean, like, kind of the convenience thing, you can start getting that convenience in when you start having more of an inventory of leads. I'm certainly not asking you to be inefficient, because if you're talking, if you're in this section of town and then you're, and then the other side of town is like an hour away.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is like out like a 2-hour drive or something.
Right. But you gotta. Yeah, so that one appointment, you book them around there, and that's the early part of Saturday. So let's say that area is like from, 9 a.m. to noon, and then the other area is from noon to 5.
Yeah.
You know, do your best you can, and you got to be, you know, you got to tell the client, look, and you got to talk and keep them on the line. It's like, look, I really only have the morning before noon in your area. So what time do you get up? I get up at 7. I'll be there at 7. It's only going to take 15, 20 minutes. It's only going to take 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay? So it's like a short time. But you got to like force them into those slots that you're not driving back and forth an hour, you know. So try to group them. You know, that's another thing that you got to do. But
I'm probably being too nice about it or something. I need to take more control. Maybe that's what it sounds like.
Well, taking control and being nice are two diametrically opposed ideas.
But I mean, but I'm being a little too pushover-y or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sticking to my guns.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound too soft. Yeah, and you know, I tell you what, clients that know they can take advantage of you will.
Okay.
You need to listen to. God, what's her name? She's pretty hardcore. Debbie, not Debbie Ben. Oh my gosh, I can't believe what's her name. She only calls old leads. I can't believe.
I might have. She said something about she never had you even saw an A lead until recently.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't call A leads at all.
So I don't remember her name either, but if I see it on her name.
Yeah,
on
she's hardcore. Yeah. But you know, listen to any of them. They're pretty controlling. They're very controlling. You know, and you got to practice that. You got to be better at that. You got to, you know, maintain your objective and don't whip out on, you know, when they tell you. You tell them when you can be there, and then, you know, and then tie it down hard. You know, tie it down. You know, get them. Are you getting them to visualize you coming over? Like asking them some, you know, general directions to their house. Are you going all the way with your phone?
I've been doing that. I tell them what kind of car I have. I ask them about the number, where the number is on the house.
Good.
And,
Good.
And then just last night I started doing that number thing, giving them a case number.
Confirmation number, case number. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's very cool. Here's here's where if you get really sick and tired of getting no-show, then you have my permission to go hardcore. And the hardcore tie-down is, hey, by the way, Joe, are you guys good at keeping your appointments? And I shut up. And they'll say, well, yeah, we are. Okay, I just want to make sure because, you know, have you ever been to like an appointment where the other person didn't show up and you're pretty upset because you showed up but they didn't, or they were late, or, you know, you go to your doctor's appointment, they make you wait an hour, and you're wondering, why the heck am I here if the appointment was really at 4 o'clock, but I'm here at 3 o'clock? Do you ever get mad at stuff like that? They say, oh, yeah, all the time. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's sometimes what I run into when someone promises me they're going to be there, and then they don't show up because, you know, they don't think that this is important to them or me, and it just, you know, wouldn't that make you mad?
That's exactly what I think. I know some of them for sure. But I, you know, at the time I had other appointments or something, and I thought, well, a chance at an appointment was better than no chance. And you know what I mean?
Well, that just kind of shows how little you value your time.
Yeah.
That just shows how little you value your time.
Well, because right now I'm in the desperate mode of I'm scratching for everything I can find. You know what I mean? Like trying to build myself up. You know, and I feel like I'm trying to.
Okay, I understand that. All the more reason. Okay. What you're telling me is you're giving me reasons why you're being wimpy, and I'm telling you those are the exact reasons why you need to be hard.
Okay. And they'll probably respect me more and be more willing to meet with me if I do.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Because if you respect yourself, other people respect you. When you don't respect yourself, other people won't. I mean, you tell that to your kids, right? You got to have self-respect. Otherwise, people will walk all over you and won't respect you. Right?
All the stuff that I know that I just like it's better to get yourself.
Well, I'm reminding you.
The hard part is getting yourself to do it, right?
Right. I'm reminding you. Yeah, and I understand. I mean, look, I need to be reminded all the time about stuff that I should be doing that I'm not doing. So, you're preaching to the choir there. I mean, I'm as guilty as charged. So I'm talking from experience, recent experience. So I'm not, any perfect example. I'm just trying. So I want you to try harder to respect your time better, because your time with your kids should be important enough to want to, when you go out there making money, you should be making money, not just giving people, wasting your gas and giving people quotes and then coming home with nothing. It's like, that sucks. That really sucks right there. So what, like your problem, it's not a major problem. It's just, when are you going to dial versus what are you booking, and then keeping that discipline like right within the parameters of what your schedule will allow. And you do that, then you lick the whole thing. But you got to get there. And I know you're desperate to book appointments, but you got to control your clients, and sometimes just not book an appointment because it's not fitting your schedule, right? It's not fitting your schedule. And then telling them, hey, I'll just have to call you back, So anyway, so let's move on to, I think if you change how far out you're booking, your show rate will start getting more normal,
okay.
So don't, this whole thing's about maximizing your percentages of what's working. So you have to do what's working, and then you'll get those averages. And then when you start getting those averages, then we can get you better on those averages, each skill part. But you got to do the basics first, okay? So let's talk about the closing in the home. So what specific things are you having difficulties with?
Really, to me, the ones I run into a lot of. They already have. If they already have insurance, they've already got coverage. Financially, they're okay, and then they're interested in it, but then the price, because whatever, they're older and they have some issues, or they whatever. And like the one when I talked to you yesterday, she she had some issues going on, so the price was going to be higher. So even and they're like, well, I don't want to pay for that small amount. I already have coverage if I already have a life insurance policy. But if it was cheaper, I would buy it. I guess that's kind of the thing. I'm running into a lot of, I dig, but, to find information to see, I guess it's like finding a problem, that pain. And I guess I'm not finding it myself enough to be able to, I kind of I'm just kind of offering something that's sort of optional, because I can't see the pain. I can't see a big pain either.
Okay. Well, if there's no pain there, then there's nothing you can do. There's no reason for them to buy it. Although, I don't just give up on it. I try not to talk them into anything that they don't need, but I'm hardcore in finding if there is a need. And so they already have it, people. They already. So tell me one situation that you ran into about we already have life insurance or whatever. Yeah, well, the one yesterday, the Santa Claus, he plays Santa Claus. At his every year at his house he's done it for, and he sometimes he has cool.
100 or 200 kids come. He didn't, you know what happened? He didn't even know why he filled out that form, because I even presented, showed him the form, and I do that. I ask him, do you know what you were, what was going on when you filled out this in your mind when you filled out this form and stuff like that, and he didn't know, and he was 82, and he had actually a $500,000. He said it was a term policy, and he said he bought it 20 years ago. So I did bring up the fact, and I tried to get him to dig it out, but he wouldn't. And seeing from his office, he was like, it would take way too long and to dig it out, and I don't want to dig it out. And but I did urge him to check to call or whatever, to dig it out or call and find out about when the term ends, and or if it was going to go up, something like that, to check on that.
Well, he's probably not going to do that.
There was that, and then he was also set up financially. His house was paid off. He had, let's see, I don't remember the particulars on the finance now. I'm trying to, but he was set up financially as even without that. He had some other, he had other assets or whatever, and they were actually looking at selling that house. It was too big, and so they would come out with some cash, and getting building a smaller place, because he builds houses, and and he was just like, we didn't even get into quotes at all, because he just didn't even.
Is he married?
I need it,
Is he married? Is he married?
Yes. And she had a $150,000 whole policy that he'd had for many years on her for some work reason that has some. It has $6,000 to $7,000 cash value in it. So like even final expenses. And we talked. I even talked about. So like you say, I did basically everything I felt like I could. I even talked about children's policies because he meets so many children, and he knows, what I mean, like for like grandkids and stuff, So I didn't know what to do there.
Well, so he didn't know why he filled it out.
Yeah, and he didn't know.
Did you ask him, why would you fill this out? Okay, you don't know why you filled it out, but why would you fill it out? Well, I don't know. I've got, and then he starts talking about everything, like all he's got. Well, I'm confused. So you had me come out, so I booked an appointment with you because why? Why did you want me to come see you? What were you expecting when I showed up?
Okay.
Don't you think that's kind of weird?
Yeah, I did. I was like, okay, but I guess
why didn't you ask it?
Maybe I didn't want to be mean to Santa Claus, but he was like, I did ask him. I was like, okay, so I did ask him why he would have filled it out, and he didn't know, and
Well, I want to know, why'd you make me come out here?
Yeah.
Is that a mean question, Carol? No, I'm seriously.
Why did
you made me leave my children. You made me leave my children to come travel an hour. I spent $15 in gas here to be here with you. And you're telling me there was no reason. You just wanted to meet me?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It goes back to the same issue as the.
Well, that's a different issue. But the issue is this issue, right? But this issue, it's not like you're talking. Okay, when you booked the appointment, you said this is Carol from the Mortgage Protection Department or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, and I got that form you sent out for covering your home in the event of death. blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be over. Yeah. And then, come on over.
But yeah.
Okay.
I would say whatever it is, I say, final expense.
Right. And so, was it final expense?
Yeah, that was a final expense. That was final expense. Sorry.
Well, that's a whole different thing. Final expense. So you went over So you sent in the form about final expense. That's even weirder. Like, I can maybe understand mortgage, but so why? Okay, you're saying you want me to come over here because I had that form on final expense insurance, and you're telling me you don't know why you filled this form that says final expenses. So I'm confused, Joe. Help me understand this. And then I shut up and let him talk. Well, I have $500,000. I got it 20 years ago. Okay, the 5% sounds like a term policy, right? Yeah, it's a term policy. Well, it's not going to end pretty soon. You had it how long ago? 20 years? Okay, well, I bet you it's already done. Well, we still make our premium payment. Well, you're probably very close. So tell me, so term policies end. So tell me, what are you going to do after that term policy is done? I don't know. My wife will just sell the house, and then we'll have enough money to bury me. Okay, that sounds reasonable. So, Mary, you want to do that? You want to sell the house just to bury him? I'm confused. You got to be really confused. You got to do the Columbo thing. You got to be really confused about stuff. I'm confused, Joe. I don't understand. You were wanting me to talk to you about final expense burial insurance. You have to come out here, and I'm just confused. Well, seriously, I would be confused. So this is under the heading of, if you feel it, say it. It's like, don't, like, the stuff going on in your head, you have permission to ask. I go, what the heck? The reason why I'm saying it hard is because when you say it, it's going to be soft. But you'll get closer. You know what I mean? You get closer to where you need to be.
I gotta start saying it. I gotta start practice saying it at some point to where eventually it'll come out to more.
Well, it either, right? And you know where it comes from? Where it comes from is getting sick and tired again of being sick and tired of getting these people, knuckleheads, making you come over their house.
Yeah.
I'm not saying be mad at them or be mean to them. I'm saying be bold with them. And it's a thimble, we call it a thimble full of boldness. Just a little bit more. And it's funny how people think that their bottom rapport is awesome. I'm great. God, bottom rapport is not what you think it is. Bottom rapport is you got strong enough bottom rapport with them that you can say hard stuff to them that they don't immediately throw you out of the house. Okay, bottom rapport is not, oh, we like each other, they like me, and I like them, and they like me, and we're going to send Christmas cards to each other now because we like each other so much. In fact, they like me so much that they're going to tell me they want to think about it. And I like them so much that I'm going to walk away with nothing.
Yeah.
That ain't bottom rapport. That's just them sucking you in to not buy from you, to not take care of their families, because everything's so nice. I like you, you like me, and then they tell you want to think about it, and you walk away with your tail between your legs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I've heard this on your training too, and I guess
you have to do it. You have to do it. It's one thing to learn it, but it's a skill, and you have to practice the skill. And you got to next time, you start asking the hard questions. So if it occurs to you, I'm confused why he asked me here. So when you're thinking that, it's like, Joe, I'm confused. Why did you ask me here? Now.
So when they go on price, because they. So, if I say, why'd you have, well, I wanted to know how much it was going to be. And then and they come back. I guess that's a different issue, really. But they go on price because, and price wouldn't be an issue if if they didn't have any insurance, then, we could get them something would be better than nothing.
You know what?
But if they already have something else, then they're like, God. Oh, I don't want that for that price because I already have this other. I don't need it. How do I?
Well, number one, you never sell on price. There's a rule here on Sandler. There's a Sandler rule on that. I know there's a Sandler rule on it. Never sell on price. You start selling on price, oh my God, you'll be in sales purgatory forever.
Right.
Oh God, never sell on price. It's not an idea about selling on price. I know it's in here. Anyway, so
especially like one yesterday, I knew. I mean, just based on where I don't know. I mean, I knew that they probably didn't have a lot of extra money. You know what I mean? Like, and
that's not your decision, Carol. Why are you making that decision for them?
Yeah.
Let them spend their own money. You're not there to spend their money. You're there to offer them opportunity to take care of their families, no matter, Now there may be a realistic situation where they don't have enough money. That obviously is that's a problem, and then we can't overcome it. But don't go in there automatically thinking how you're thinking, because you'll fail every time thinking how you're thinking. I'm trying to change the way you're thinking about all this.
But
But you're assuming
when when we started getting into, she wanted the rates, so she was interested, and she's still interested if we could get something that's a lower price. But because again, she has a policy. She'd like to have something, $5,000 or $10,000.
Why?
But not.
Why does she need more? Why does she need more? Did you ask her? Well, I'm confused. Why do you need more? It sounds like you have all the coverage you need.
Yeah, well,
that's a different question that you were asking, right? That was a different question than you're asking.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you need more?
I'm curious. I'm confused. You already have coverage. You got plenty of coverage.
But
you got plenty of life insurance.
When I agree with them, they just go, "Yeah, you're right," and see you later. So okay. And then I got to say, why'd you have me come out here, right? I don't know.
But now you're wimping out again.
Okay.
You're wimping out again because you're assuming that's what they're going to say. So you're just going to, and you're laughing it off because you think it's like a frivolous question. It's not.
Okay.
I'm confused. How come you said you want $10,000? Why do you think you need $10,000? She better give you a good reason why she thinks she needs $10,000 more. Again, it's a pain deal. Well, I really want $10,000 because it's nice to have, or you really need it. Like, tell me who your loved one is. Like, who's she trying to cover, Carol?
That one was for herself. She said she mailed it in before she went to the doctor and had she mailed it in. Who knows when she actually mailed it in, whether it was before or after she saw the doctor on this issue that she's waiting on results on. So.
Well, I know. Okay. I mean, okay. Let's just take that one off the table because that's just that's a technical thing that we maybe not. We cannot do anything right for that right now.
I have 2 more appointments now that are ones that they've basically already told me that there's some major health issue, and that's basically around the time that they filled out one of these forms when something like that happened. And now I don't even know if I can write them on guaranteed issue or not. I'm gonna have to look and see.
Well, let's come back to this woman. I'm just kind of curious about this lady. So who is she trying to cover?
Herself.
You haven't answered yet.
Herself.
No. Who's her beneficiary?
Oh, her husband.
Was her husband there?
No.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
We're talking all this time, and her husband was not there. Well, you should have booked it.
I didn't even know she was married when she...
Oh, my God. Okay, if I go over this a gazillion times. Okay, Carol. Okay, and for everyone out there listening, when there's only one person on the lead, Was there only one person on the lead?
Yes.
Okay. When there's one person on the lead, the first thing you ask, or while you're asking the questions confirming her information, is, by the way, who's going to be the beneficiary of this policy?
Okay, that's a question don't ask.
My husband.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Carol,
yeah,
you've got to ask that question.
It's a good question to be asking.
I've been preaching from the mountaintops that question for people that are just one person on the lead. Who's the beneficiary? Well, my husband. Oh, I don't see his name on here. What's his name? John. Okay. Now, is John interested to get some burial coverage? What?
But you're saying on the phone when I'm getting
on the phone.
Yeah.
Yes, on the phone. On the phone. Like, here's why. You want to know if you're walking into a situation where she's going to cover her kids or her husband. Oh, you're covering your kids? Do your kids live there with you, or they live close by? Well, they live close by, but they don't live with me. Okay. Well, which one is the one that you think is going to take charge of your estate after you're done? Well, my son, George. Does he live very close to you? Oh, yeah, he lives right down the street. Okay. Hey, listen, I'm going to be there Saturday and Sunday, Saturday afternoon between 1 and 3 p.m. Is there any way that George can be with us so he can, help you make a decision here? Oh, well, I'll ask him. Well, I'll hold. Why don't you call him? Okay, or whatever, Just put me on hold and call him.
I get a lot of flack on. It surprises me that I didn't catch that. I don't know if maybe I'm not used to this kind of these forms as much or what, but because I normally do ask. I'm sure I've missed it before on others, but normally I do look around about what about the spouse, or normally I do that, and for that one, some reason I missed it. And the way to ask a question is not, do you have a spouse? The way to ask a question is, who's going to be the beneficiary, the loved one you're trying to protect with this policy? That's how you ask it. Don't ask them if they're married, especially if you're a guy out there. Hey, Mrs. Smith, are you married? That's really creepy. Yeah.
Right. But who's the beneficiary? Who's the loved one you're trying to protect with this policy? And then you find out if it's a husband. And then when you find out there's a husband there, then you book the appointment with the husband there. Okay? So right away, you're already working at a disadvantage.
And I get a lot of flack for that. Well, why does he have to be here? Or especially, I've actually had several men, I make all the decisions. And they've kind of given me a hard time about it. And I don't.
You know what, Carol?
And I get the question all the time, and I tell them.
How many is that? Is that 3 out of? Is that 15 out of 15 leads, or is that 2 out of 20? It's funny. Define yourself, because a lot of times when people say, "Well, everyone I talk to gives me this kind of grief," and it's like,
not everyone, but I'm saying I get it does come up a lot. It comes up a lot. It's come
What
up.
Does a lot? What does a lot mean?
I've had it on 2 that were supposed to be booked appointments, and one of them, and because she works 2 jobs, I'm having trouble, pinning down an appointment with her where she can also be with where her husband can be there as well. Because at one time she was going to try to meet me on her lunch break, but then the husband wouldn't be there. So I've really gone roundabout about the husband being there.
So you're probably getting as many of those as anyone else gets. So don't, be careful from, overgeneralizing. But let me say this about that. It's just like the 24 to 48-hour rule, Carol. It's just like the 24 to 48-hour rule. You can either bust the rule and suffer the results, okay, or you can follow the rule and get better results. The one-leggers, you argue with me why it's better to do a one-legger than not.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying I want to do the one-leggers. I'm saying, what's a better thing for me to say that that will get a better response from people when I say that? Because whatever I'm saying is not very good.
Okay, so when they give me hell about, well, I make the decisions, my wife doesn't have to be there, I go, Joe, yeah, absolutely you make the decisions. And but what we're talking about here is a benefit for your spouse. And she needs to also be there because we're talking about when you die. And so when we're talking about something important like when you die, how she's going to be taken care of, I think it's probably a good idea for her to be there because I know she'd want to be there. And we can discuss it because, she's involved in this. She's your beneficiary, right? Unless someone else is. If she's not your beneficiary, Joe, then she doesn't need to be there.
Okay.
So how did he argue that? Well, she doesn't have time. Okay, well, tell me when she does have time. But I'm not going to book it, because here's why. I'll give you the benefit of my experience. I've been in this 15 years. Any time they sold me on them being the man of the family, making all the decisions, okay, I go over there, the bastard tucks his tail between his legs and say, well, I have to ask my wife about it. I got to make sure I got to clear with my wife.
Yeah.
And I said, damn it, this ain't going to frickin' happen to me again. So I got sick and tired, Carol, doing it. I don't care what they say. I'm not going over there if my spouse is there. Well, does that mean you blow the lead? Absolutely it means I blow the lead if I can't get in front of them. Because they're just like rules. I'd rather stack the deck in my favor. I never build my business. I never run my business on exceptions. Exceptions will kill you.
Yeah.
Follow the rules. That's why they're rules. Just like the more you follow the rules, the more success you'll have. The less you follow the rules, the less success you have. So, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you mad enough that you're not going to do that anymore. You know what I mean? Because I've been so sick and tired of it. I know where you're coming from. I just wanted to kill somebody because I was so stupid. I want you to get
that's what makes me the maddest is that, I'm like, I allowed him to do this. I allowed
you
this
do.
to happen.
Don't be a floor mat, Carol. Don't be a floor mat. Stand up. You're stronger than that. Come on. I mean, gosh, you're a mother. You're a mother. Gosh, birthing babies is something a man cannot do. They tell me that a man would die based on the pain that a woman goes through to have a baby. So, right away, you're the stronger gender, number one. All right? Then women are smarter than men in general anyway. So you're smarter than us. So now it's time to exert that, that smartness and that strength. Because you have it. You're just not letting it show. You got to let it show.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like the turning point when I had to have this, when I became a single mom and the kids, they always listen to dad better than they listen to mom, kind of thing. And I finally got fed up and I said, well, I got to be dad too, so I'm going to have to be tough. And it was like a turning point in my head, and I guess that's kind of what I have to do here. For me, I felt like I was being so, so hard or whatever, but they needed it. And
you know what, Carol? And here's the advantage you have that we men don't have in the home, is that you can be hard ass, but be nice because you're a female. You can be harder than us and with a smile on your face and using that nurturing personality, the nurturing part of your gender, and we couldn't get away with what you could get away with. That's the thing that's why some women are so awesome at this, way better than guys are once they understand the advantage that they have. And that's the advantage you have by being female. You can be harder, but being nurturing and nice, because every guy had a mother, right? Every man had. Okay, most of them knew their mother, but some didn't. But there's that thing, right? So you really do have an advantage you're not aware of, and I think you should take advantage of that. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, I'm writing it down.
Okay, so the medical issues, there's nothing you can do about you can do all you can with medical problems, but there's something you cannot do. If they have surgery scheduled, we can't do anything until they have the surgery, then have the results, and then 6 months after that, then we can write them a policy. So the best you can do there is tell them that, and then write on their on the thing that you call them back in 6 months. I mean, just something you cannot do, right? Or they're waiting for that cancer thing. So
when they put the issue of price because they have another policy, then I just go back to that. Why am I here kind of thing, right? Why'd you have me come?
Well, I do that, or because the other policy, I want to know why they need more, so they have to tell me why they need more, and they have to come up with good reasons. Like, I'm kind of confused. Like, you're happy with your policy, right? Well, yeah, it's $10,000. Okay, well, $10,000 is plenty to bury you, I think. I mean, how much are funerals today? For just the basic casket and burial plot and stuff, I think it's around about $8,000-9,000. So you got $10,000, you got $1,000 more than what you need, unless your husband wants to upgrade it to like the premium casket and the premium plot and all that, and that headstone. Now you're talking about $15,000, and I don't know what other expenses. Do you got car payments? You got other expenses?
Yeah. I did mention about, I did talk about, because they don't own the house, they rent, and I asked her about how much that was, and I did mention, I said, probably doesn't want to go back to work, doesn't want to have to head back to work right after, right when it happens, right? Doesn't want to have to go back to work.
Well, okay, so, yeah, the kind of the thing that we're talking is, like, we're way ahead already. We're not where we need to be, where now there's Joe. Joe's in the picture with Mary. Before it was just Mary. Now it's Joe and Mary. So then you really got to go back to the T thing that I do, where how much the income. Yeah, the income after Mary dies. So Joe's making how much? How much you guys making now? It's like we're making $5,000 a month. So after you die, Mary, how much is Joe going to be making? Well, he'd be making $3,000. Okay, so. And the mortgage payment or the rent payment is this and that, whatever. Okay, so $3,000, $2,000. So you got debt, you got other things that, because he's got to pay all the debts off, like car payment and all those other payments, right? And rent and food. So Joe, let me ask you, Joe. So now Joe's the one with the issue. So Joe, I mean, when that $2,000 a month is gone, tell me how is it going to be easy living the way you're living now? So I'm trying to find pain, because you're talking to the wrong person, Carol. You're talking to Mary. Mary's not the one with the pain after she dies. It's Joe. And so do you how the dynamic changes when both people are there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she doesn't have the pain. He does if Mary dies. Or he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't. But you don't really know one way or the other. So, continue the conversation with her. Now, if she's the one with the cancer thing, well, you can't really do anything anyway until those results come back. Yeah. But you really got to rebook it with Joe there, and then then it becomes a normal situation where you can figure this out, right? And then determine if there's enough pain there to do more than what they have on their life insurance burial policy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I am, as we're talking about this, and I'm thinking about the ones that that I'm not able to close it. All of them are very similar situations. They've got, I haven't discovered enough pain for some reason or another, and then at the same time, I think my appointment setting and not being, I think it's all tying together with the things from the beginning of the appointment setting, and then I get
just
to
being
the appointment, and now and so I'm going kind of in this cycle of being being desperate, and I don't go into the appointments that way, like desperate to make a sale. I don't think I come off that way at all. But I think my desperation to get out and be on appointments, because at least then there's a chance that I could have a sale versus no appointment,
Right.
Then
look.
And I think that is all, rather than taking my time to tone these down at the beginning, from the appointment time to where they're more quality or something, or.
Well, yeah. I mean, the reason why we're talking now is because you did do all those things before. So, number one, thank you for working, because working and getting out there is how you get to this point where we can coach you. Like I said earlier today, you can't steer a parked car. So you're driving, you might be hitting the guardrail, so we're going to try to get you more towards the center of the road, right? And you can only do it, Carol, by doing what you did. So, good. This is great. Yeah, I'm glad we're here. Okay, so now it's time to get you moving down the middle of the road, which I think you can do. There's not a lost cause in my opinion. Otherwise, I wouldn't be spending an hour with you, because I believe that you can be great. All right, so you shore that some of these little things up. Like, honestly, these are little minor things to increase your show rate and your close rate, but it's a minor physical thing to do, but it's a major mental thing for you to honor your time more, and to it's better to not book it than to hope that they're going to show up because it's 4 days later. Stay more disciplined in things that work, and if you stay there, you're going to start getting the success that we expect. In terms of the number. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This definitely. It pinpointed what really, it's like one overall issue that's affecting everything. And like I said from the beginning, I was having low rates in every part of what I'm, in every area, it seemed like, and it's all basically from one main issue. And then I think when I get more concrete, then maybe I'll have more time to dig up some more leads. I'll have more time to work more leads on the appointment setting then, if I'm not out on calls that aren't going to show up. Then I'll have more time to be calling people to find somebody that will show up.
There you go. You're talking yourself into doing the right thing more often than doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, sometimes I guess I gotta learn by doing. I guess I gotta.
Well, everyone does. Absolutely, you're learning by doing. So, anyway, cool. So I'm going to open up. Anybody else on the call have any questions? Or does everything we've said kind of cover your problem? I think it does. I think maybe there's a lot to it, but Connor, anybody?
Yeah. Hey, Alex, I got a question.
Okay.
So I have I went on an appointment earlier today. 12 p.m. I sent you a message or whatnot. From the previous appointments, I've learned to make sure the wife is, all the things that I did first is kind of what, she was talking about. So we've talked about it. I've sharpened up on it, but I feel, especially when I did this appointment this morning, that the single reason that I didn't close was that I didn't get deep enough in the pain. And so I know that you have to uncover it, and I know when I don't, and I guess I sort of get soft, but my question is, what are some questions that you kind of use to fish around, you were saying, to find it? And, because what I started asking today, perfect example, she was a housewife. He made like $130,000 a year. So I'm talking to them, and obviously she's got the biggest need. And so when I turned to ask her, what would happen, I kind of painted a picture. He gets hit in the head on collision. What's going to happen? And it was kind of like he started answering. And I guess how can I take control of that situation, better? Because I know I didn't, but what could I do better to take control of that situation?
Okay, so he started answering.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, so I just have, kind of the dynamics. If he starts answering, I mean, the typical thing is like, Joe, you're dead. Okay, I kind of laugh. Joe, you're dead. I want Mary to help me understand this from her perspective, not yours, because I want to know what she's feeling here. You know, so Mary, what do you think? I'm nice about it, you know, but I want to stay in control. You know, I want her to tell me, and when she tells me, I want him to listen to her. You know, and it's important from her perspective. And I might even say it. I'd say, Joe, it's really important from Mary's perspective what happens, what she's going to do, because you're gone, you're dead. Not only she loses you, but she loses your income. So based on that, I want to understand from her perspective what she's going to do. And then
just kind of keep digging and digging.
Yeah, I just keep asking. I'm nice and nurturing. Remember, nice and nurture. And that's the way you ask it. And so, like, tell me about the situation. Like, he makes $130,000. It's a mortgage.
Yeah, and he had you know, some enormous amount of work insurance, and so I kind of addressed the situation and said that, you know, he's been working there for 30 years, but I said, you know, we never know with this economy what can happen. You could lose your job tomorrow, and that kind of coverage wouldn't be there. So I kind of put that coverage in its place, and he finally came out and said, well, we're looking for something that would cover the mortgage for about you know, he's like around like, you know, $2, $3, maybe $400,000. And I was like, okay. And he's like, so that she would have, you know, that she wouldn't. He told me, he's like, so that she wouldn't have to, you know, worry about that and, you know, still have some left over. And I got to that point, and I think I did what you say on your video, which was I did like my pre-celebration, like, yeah, like I got the sale in my mind. And it wasn't even like I really felt that way. I just think I just kind of wrote it off. Like he told me enough of what he wants.
He told you what you wanted to hear, not what what she needs to say. Well, okay, so when they start saying that be careful of wishy-washy words. What are wishy-washy words? Wishy-washy words are words that don't mean anything. Okay? Yeah. So when he says, well, yeah, I want her to, you know, $400,000, I go, wow, that's great. Which is it? 2, 3, or 400?
Okay.
Well, the mortgage is $275, and so I'd like to have a little bit more than that to cover this. And okay, well, tell me more about it. So is it you want the mortgage paid off, but what else do you need? Well, she needs. So I start asking her, you know. So tell me, what does she need? And then he tells me, well, I think she needs this, and I think she needs that, and I think she needs that. I go, great. Okay, so Mary, your turn. You tell me what you need. Your husband dies tomorrow, or he dies after the work insurance is done, or he loses a job and then he dies. You know, because everyone should have work insurance, but this is not a discussion about work insurance because, you know, you don't control that. We're talking about insurance that you can control. We're not talking about work insurance. So let's talk about the insurance that you're fully in control of. So tell me your situation. Is it 2, 3, 400,000? Tell me what you need, and I want her to tell me what she needs. You know, it's not him; he's dead. So I want to know what's up with her. Well, I'd like to have this, and I want to be able to get out of debt and make sure that I can stay in this house. And blah, 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 right?
Yeah, and it's so weird because I heard, you know, I heard that statement, and I felt like, you know, I knew I needed to hear what you're talking about. Like, I knew I wanted to get in depth, and I was, you know, kind of watching your video and going through that. And I guess, you know, I've been on, like, you know, 3 appointments as of so far. So first off, numbers just need to ramp up and to get more experience of it. But I feel like I just needed. And I had a second question, and this is I don't know if this is just sort of one of those things that we were just talking about.
Let me ask a question on the slide.
Yeah, of course.
So did you book a meeting? Did you book a meeting for a meeting?
I did not. I mean, she obviously asked for my the info. But what happened is they told me they were getting a quote later on. They were taking the day to get the quote too because they were getting another one from, some other insurance agency or something. So she was like, oh, well, we're taking a look at that. And she's like, oh, you can use your spreadsheet. And I guess the husband was going to put together some spreadsheet or whatever, whatever he was going to do. Yeah, whatever he was going to do.
What quote did you leave them?
I left them with a $150,000 policy with accidental, so 150 accidental, and then a disability. So it was with Foresters. So it was like $95 a month.
Strong foundation?
Yeah.
Fully underwritten or it's simplified issue?
Simplified issue.
Okay.
And he was 50.
How old is he?
He was 53. He's 53.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, if I knew that I had to be leaving a quote with them, well, number one, I wouldn't leave a quote. Like if I knew that nothing was happening that day and they were going to shop for other quotes, I wouldn't give them a quote. I'd say, okay, well, that's cool. I've got 13 companies, and why don't you do me a favor? When you get a quote from that company, then you tell me what they gave and all the parameters, terms, much, and then I can shop for 13 companies to beat that price. So
yeah.
When are you going to get that? When are you going to get that quote? Well, we're going to get it today. Okay. So why don't we do this? Why don't I come back Saturday? You guys going to be around Saturday morning? Yeah. What time do you get up? Get up about 8. Okay, why don't I swing by? I think I could be here between 9 and 10 o'clock a.m. You will have that quote, and then I'll run some quotes right in front of you so you can see me doing it, and with our 13 companies, and then we'll see who does better for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you get to win. You get to win that quote battle.
Yeah. Well, I was the first agent.
See, I know, dude. But see, here's the rate you gave him. You gave him a high rate based on fully underwritten. He's going to get a fully underwritten rate for another company, and they're going to say, "Oh man, that's way too much," because this guy's going to give us $300,000 for less than what Connor gave us. So man, their prices are way too high.
And I did kind of pre-warn them. I pre-warned them a little bit. I starred simplified. I wrote simplified issue in big terms and explained what the difference between a fully underwritten. I explained that there was only like a coin flip chance to get, underwritten.
Okay.
To get,
well, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
But still, I could have done more.
But pretend I'm the other guy. Okay, so let's pretend I'm the other guy. And so they call me, Alex. Yeah, you can give us a quote. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we got this quote from this guy named Connor. It's like this company, $150,000 for blah 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 blah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, was he one of those guys, those mortgage guys? Well, yeah. We send in one of these. Oh, you know what those guys do? They try to. Did he tell you about sell you on where you don't have to take a blood and urine test? Well, yeah. He said it's one of these things called simplified issue, honey. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. So, oh golly, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, you know what those guys are doing, don't you? Well, what do you mean? Well, those guys are just trying to get you into a high rate because you're pretty healthy, aren't you? Well, yeah, I don't take any medications, and I'm pretty healthy. And are you a smoker? No, I'm not a smoker. Had any operations? Well, just a knee operation from high school. Oh, man, those guys do. They try to jack you into this rate so they can make a lot of money. Here, let me give you a quote. And I'm just going to assume you're super healthy. So I'm going to give you a preferred plus quote. And he's quoting you $150,000. Man, I can do $150,000 for $35 a month. Now, how much do you really need? Well, for those kind of rates, we need $300. How about $400? Give me a quote for $400, right around $60 a month. Wow, that's $10 more than what Connor gave us, and we have $400,000 of insurance. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can, that's what I could do for you. Now, you call him back if you want to pay that rate on him, and then, if you want. But, so what do you want to do?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's the other guy. So remember, when you leave that rate with them, you're leaving it to that guy who's going to. That's why you don't want to leave rates, because you have nothing for that guy to say. Well, another guy came and showed us a plan. Well, talked about another plan he could do for us. Well, what's his rate? Well, he didn't give us a rate yet. Oh, how come? Well, he just wouldn't give one to us until we figured out what you can give us. Oh, okay. Well, so what can you give us? Right?
Yeah.
And so the other guy's going to give a rate because that's the way those guys work. And then she'll call you back, Connor, this guy says that he could do $400,000 for $75 a month. Oh, what health rating did he gave us at the top preferred super plus rating. Oh, okay. Well, let me see what I could do for you. And then you quote Mutual of Omaha or Transamerica term or whatever. And then you play the quote game just like they play, right? So that's what, so be careful leaving rates behind for them to compare because, it's you're going to lose it.
Yeah, it was rough because she didn't say that, of course, until I already presented the rates, which, again, I didn't dig into enough pain to begin with. So, that's probably a big point. But, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, no matter how I paint it, the other guy's going to give them the top preferred rate.
But but before you presented rates, you should have had that discussion. Like, you did the rates, so you do the rates. Well, okay, after the pain. So after the pain part, you go, okay, great. Well, this is what's going to happen next. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present to you 3 options. You're going to pick one option that'll fit your needs and budget. Like I'm doing this really fast. Don't do it this fast.
Yeah.
That'll fit your needs and budget. And what we're going to do is we're going to send to the insurance company. What the insurance companies do is they're going to think about you. They're going to think about whether or not you can get into it, blah, blah, blah. And then if they approve you, then I'm going to deliver it back to you, and then you can think about it at that point to see if you want to increase it, decrease it, whatever you want to do with it. But if it goes to the insurance company and they decline you, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to offer you 1 or 2 other companies that I know you'll have a reasonable chance to get covered with them, and I'll give you the rate options at that point. So all we're doing today is to see if you qualify. We're not going to be locking any rates in. We're just going to see if you qualify right now. And so you pick the initial program we're going to choose, and then, so does that all sound good to you? Because today's not a think about it today. We're just going to try to see if we qualify for the program that you like the best. Then they're going to say, well, Connor, that sounds all great, but we're actually waiting for another rate from another company we're talking to. Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm going to put you on mute for a second. I'm some at work, but I'm still listening.
Oh, okay. So you're talking to someone. Okay, great. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do here. I'm going to just go ahead and shut it down, and when they give you that rate, give me a call back. I've got 13 companies, and then we'll have a better approach that I can cover with you. When's a good time tomorrow? When are you going to get that rate? We're going to get it today, this afternoon, after you leave. Okay, super. Why don't we do this? Why don't we get together tomorrow? What time do you get up? Blah, blah, blah. Let's book it for tomorrow. Then we can sit down. Once you give me that rate and give me all the parameters of that, what that rate means, like term and face value and guarantees, like is it guaranteed for the whole 20, 30 years or whatever? Yeah. Then I can come back and I can shop among 13 different companies the best rate for you. Well, can't you give us the best rate now? Well, I don't know that I could because I don't know what this other company, you know how that is. The other guy is going to tell you all kinds of good stuff, and I'd rather be more realistic with you. It'll be interesting to see. He probably is already going to quote you a company we're already working with. But why don't I just come back? Well, what? You can't give us? No, I really can't because, it just doesn't make any sense until we know kind of what we're dealing with. And then I just walk out. I'll walk out. I'm done. I'm not gonna like give them rates because they're stealing my rates. I don't want to steal my rates. Well, then that means you won't make the sale. Okay, I'd rather not make the sale than spill my rates only for them to go shop it with another company.
Yeah.
Now understand this, Connor. And this whole call is about me being cynical because I've gotten screwed too many times.
Right.
I've been screwed by clients. Remember, here's the standard rule. All clients lie all the time. Okay, that's rule number, I'm looking through the book here. All clients, let me see, where is it? Can't lose anything you don't have. That's a great rule. Oh, my God. Sell today, educate tomorrow. Where is it? All clients lie all the time. Oh, rule number 37, all prospects lie all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so, look, man, it's all a sales process. They're selling you, you sell them, you're selling them. You're just trying to tip the balance in your favor, dude. And, but you're learning. So you're just your third appointment. I mean, golly, you're learning stuff. So this is all important stuff to learn so that you can take this and then not get fooled again by a client who's trying to steal your rates. They're very good. In fact, if they're that good, you should hire them as sales agents, dude, because they're already that good.
True. Well, you've been in sales for 30 years, too, so. But, yeah, I know what you mean. So. Well, and the first thing we talked about, I was like, so I was like, you should be teaching me. Because they were like, oh, you're a very young guy. And I was like, I was told my story relating to insurance and why it's something that
you're
I'm
a very young guy.
Yeah.
You're a very young guy. That is so condescending. It's the.
I know.
So what he did. Here's what he did. So I don't know if you ever heard of transactional analysis, TA.
No.
So there's parent, adult, child. Parent, adult, child. So parent, adult, child is you. Parent, adult, child is them. And so what clients like to do is they like to put themselves in the parent role and then treat you as a child because they can control you, right? Your job is to operate on the adult to adult level. So that comment for him was trying to subjugate you to the child side, right? So when someone tries to do that to you, dude, you immediately stomp them in the face nicely and say, yeah, I might be young, but you know what? I've got a lot of great training from the folks that are training me here with our company or something like that. I mean, just like, yeah, you might. But here's what you did. What you did is you gave that up because you became child and you treated him as a parent. Oh, you should be teaching me. Oh, my God, dude, never.
Yeah.
Never say
I'm over here trying to make them like me, and that's bad, yeah.
Okay, your job is not to make them like you. Your job is to make them respect you. Respect and like are two different things. Okay, like, you might respect and like are two different things. You make them respect you because you're operating on an adult-to-adult level because of what you're doing to try to help them. But when you give up that and you become the child and make him the parent, then that relationship will always be how it turned out. It turned out the way it was supposed to because you totally put yourself in the child role because you gave him the parent role. And so he's not, and he probably acted that way all the way through the appointment.
Oh yeah, he was with cross arms, sitting in the back of in the chair, talking for the wife, and kind of just talking about. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. That's like dead on.
And by the way, that's an age thing. That is not. It doesn't have to be an age thing too. Does not have to. Because some of our top sales guys are guys your age. Justin Balick, he's a little crazy, but he can sell, man. But he's got experience. So I mean, you learn this stuff, and that's how you learn this stuff. So don't ever give up that. Don't ever kind of put yourself in that situation again. Always operate on the level that you're there to help. You know what you're talking about, even though you don't know everything about what you're talking about, but you know enough to help them, right?
Yeah,
and so,
true.
And you're armed with the ATM. You got the ATM to stand behind, to to help guide you through. Does that make sense?
100%, because I mean that's not, like I said, the fact that I'm young I know isn't really an issue because where we were at with Andy the other day, the guy was flipping burgers and now he's doing all right.
I know. Yeah, get rid of that stuff in your head. Like people will treat you the way you think about yourself, right? People will treat you the way you treat you. So if you treat yourself or you think about yourself poorly, people will treat you poorly. But don't think of yourself arrogantly either. I mean, then people will treat you like an arrogant a-hole, and you don't want to be that.
Right.
You want to be someone who's concerned and cares about people, and you're there to do a job as a professional, to do a job, take care of them. And you operate on a very adult level and a professional level, and you do your job. And your job is to find the pain. Your job is to solve the problem of that pain, show them 3 opportunities to take care of their family that will meet their needs and budget, and then tell them what happens next. This is what happens next. And lock it down, and it'll start getting to where it becomes more natural. But you got to go through this stuff, dude, to learn it. Because if you don't go through this, then you'll never learn it. So, again, kudos to you getting out there, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm excited for more and more. I mean, honestly, I feel like with every appointment I've done so far, all I've done is locate issues to work on. Call you or watch you on YouTube, and then fix that problem. And it's like gradually as I've gone through, like I'm getting down to the real principle of the problem, which is that for example, that adult child parent thing, or digging for the pain, or just kind of asserting myself.
By the way, all that stuff's on my the Sandler page. So if you go to the abn.financial training and then look for the link on Sandler, that parent-child stuff is in there, and he talked about it, and so that's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff. So anyway, well, we're going on an hour and a half. This is a little bit longer than I wanted, but it was still. I hope it helped you guys. So anyway, wow.
I've been listening. Thank you.
Okay,
this is Jonah. I've been listening. Awesome. Thank you.
Jonah! Awesome. Yeah. You rock, dude.
Thank you.
All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend, and let's rock the house. And call me from the home. You got to turn the home. Call me. Don't walk away until you call me. All right? So God bless. Take care, buddy. Bye now.